What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. All right, everybody, check it out. Have you guys seen the insane amount of cope that's going on right now when it comes to the Fantastic Four and how it's about to just absolutely shit the bed in the box office? It's a flop. Everybody knows it's a flop. And yet the shill media outlets, they keep trying to spin a win out of this thing. They're trying to somehow spin this thing into a victory for Marvel. Look at this crap. The Fantastic Four first step passes 450 million worldwide, will finish closer to Superman than expected. What does that got to do with anything? I don't care how close it finishes to Superman. I don't care if it matches Superman box office to box office. It's still a flop. Yeah, here goes CBR. The MCU has a new box office leader for 2025. Yeah, I guess somebody had to be the leader for 2025. You dropped 3 movies, all 3 of them flopped. So we're going to celebrate this somehow. We got a new leader, everybody. You would think like, okay, that would make sense if like, Captain America, Brave New World or Thunderbolts, made some real money. Both of those were giant flops. Thunderbolts didn't even hit 400 million and Captain America barely squeaked over $400 million. So what are we bragging about here? Is this some sort of a flex right now? Oh, yeah, Fantastic Four did that. Is this a flex? Is this what CBR is? Like what's happening? Yeah, this is another one from Screen Rant. Fantastic Four First Steps surges past its third Phase 1 MCU movie with the new box office milestone. This is how desperate they are. They are still bringing up Phase 1 MCU movies. They got to go all the way back to Phase 1 to try to find a victory for this movie. Oh, yeah, it's a new milestone. Good job. You passed up, like the Incredible Hulk or something like that, like way back in the day. It's ridiculous, man. Look, I don't hate the movie. I think Fantastic Four First Steps as a movie is fine. It's absolutely fine. In fact, it's enjoyable. You might actually like it. But at the end of the day, y'all, look, this is a flop. Just say that. Just accept that it's a flop and accept that you need to do better. You need to probably reset everything. Instead of just trying to keep spinning a victory out of this thing. And you got all your shills working at your disposal. It's absolutely insane, man. Yeah, and then you got screen time. A Fantastic Four is tracking finish its theatrical run. Wait, Fantastic Four is tracking finish its theatrical run. Look, they're so hard trying to shill that they can't even complete sentences correctly. Fantastic Four is tracking to finish its theatrical run, making $500 to $510 million. The film had a $200 million budget. So, again, that's what they try to do. Oh, it only had a $200 million budget. So if you don't pay attention, if you don't know anything about how the Hollywood box office works, you would say, hot damn, it won. It did it. Fantastic Four is a win for Marvel. Congratulations. Yeah, Marvel. Like, that's what you're going to think. You got this guy here, the Gary, let's fucking go. Great movie. That's what he said. This cat down here, QG Saki. So it broke even then when it's all done and over with. What's with all the doom and gloom before weeks ago? So it isn't a flop. No, it's a flop. Okay, it's 1,000% a flop. And look, saying that it's going to hit $500 million, that's not necessarily guaranteed. Right now it's sitting at $468 million worldwide. And next week you got K-pop Demon Hunters hitting theaters as the sing-along. I guarantee you that thing is going to make a lot of noise. Weapon is still in theaters. It's a couple other movies people haven't seen yet. I don't know. I think this is still up in the air as to whether or not this thing hits $500 million. But here's the reality of the situation, okay? They're trying to build it up because they got Doomsday coming up next year. And they got to build Doomsday up, and they got to make sure that Doomsday doesn't flop, because they're about to spend well north of $500 million just on Doomsday alone. And so you can see right now, shout out to Marvin Montanaro, That Park Place. Marvel's Avengers Doomsday cast rumors reek of Disney desperation to spin narrative away from Fantastic Four box office. Yeah, the Fantastic Four box office was a failure. All right, an absolute failure. And so what they'll need to do is they need to start pumping up Doomsday. All right, they're also starting to pump up Spider-Man Brand New Day. We got to get the attention away from Fantastic Four because that's negative. Let's start looking forward to Doomsday. Aren't you guys excited about Doomsday? Aren't you guys excited to see who else is going to show up along with all of these other chairs with Robert Downey Jr. and Pedro Pascal? Aren't you guys pumped up about that? Nobody's excited about that. That's one of the biggest problems right now is that this casting announcement, they got one coming up on August 27th, so they say. And they're saying, yeah, we already kind of know who some of the cast list is going to be in the second Avengers cast list reveal. And keep in mind, these names, they were provided by Jeff Snyder, the In Snyders. All right, so it's one of these like scoopers. Not necessarily 100% verified, but I mean, we probably could say, yeah, at least a good half of these names are probably going to be on the list. All right. You see, like, yeah, Halle Berry and Famke Jensen as Jean Grey and Storm. Yeah, definitely. I expect them to be in there, even if they say, no, we're not going to be in it. Yeah, we expect them to be there. But yeah, a total of 33 new characters that have been added to the original list of 25, making for a grand total of 58 characters that would appear in a movie that cannot be longer than 3 hours. I guarantee you it's going to be even more than that. I guarantee you it's going to be in the 60s. I haven't seen Agent Coulson get mentioned anywhere. They're probably going to throw Agent Coulson in there as well. All right. And who knows if they can maybe talk Scarlett Johansson into joining in. Hey, man, everybody got a price. Even though Scarlett says, nope, 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 everybody got a price. So you never know. But yeah, I mean, this is ridiculous, man. All of these characters, and they're not going to be anything more than a cameo because we already know what's supposed to happen with them, all right? We saw this earlier this week. Dr. Doom sees the multiverse incursions as a serious threat and plans to stop them using Franklin Richards. He believes he's the hero of the story and will do whatever it takes to stay in control. Yeah, so basically, he's just going to be wiping out multiverse incursions, and that's why all of these characters are popping up. He's just basically going to be eliminating them one at a time. Sheep's led to the slaughter. That's what I see this thing as being. And I'm sorry, man. That's just not interesting. That's not interesting. But yet, that's what they got our attention on to get away from the Fantastic Four box office flop. Let's go ahead and see what Marvin talking about. For the last week, the internet has been set ablaze with Avengers Doomsday cast rumors. One day, Spider-Man is reportedly in the movie, the next, Hulk. Then, out of nowhere, outlets insist Steve Rogers is returning alongside Deadpool, Ironheart, and She-Hulk. Depending on which scoop you believe, Doomsday might contain every Marvel character that's ever existed, plus a few extras for good measure. And then he says, if you want my opinion, and I assume you do because you clicked on my editorial, it's desperation, pure, unfiltered Marvel and Disney desperation. I agree. I think that's exactly what's happening. The Fantastic Four fallout, let's not dance around it. The Fantastic Four First Steps was supposed to be the big spark, the moment Marvel finally reversed years of creative misfires. Instead, it sputtered out at the box office, and worse, it failed to generate the cultural buzz the studio needed. Yeah, because again, you got Pedro Pascal in this thing, and a lot of people are sick and tired of Pedro Pascal. And then the other actors, although they do a fine job, it's just nothing to write home about. Nobody had a performance that was just like, like Robert Downey Jr., just like, wow, man, his performance as Iron Man blew us out of the water. Nobody had a performance like that just knocked the socks off of everybody. And that's what you need, when you just have, a regular movie. This movie is just a regular movie. It's a good movie, but it's just very regular. It's nothing special. For Kevin Feige and his team, the stakes couldn't have been higher. Marvel desperately wanted to recreate the electricity of Phase 3 heading into the Infinity Saga's climax. That's why Fantastic Four was hyped as a cornerstone of the MCU's next era. Instead, it turned into another expensive reminder that audiences no longer trust Marvel to deliver because they haven't delivered. They haven't delivered. That's real talk. All they've done is just give us a lot of member berries. Lately, that's what we've been getting. A lot of girl boss, they've thrown in some decent special effects. I think Galactus looked good on screen. I was happy to see that. But yeah, Thunderbolts, Falcon, Brave New World, like all of that crap, I can do without it. It wasn't anything special. And then pretty much everything leading up to that. And then you have, the Marvels, like the Marvels a couple of years ago. You got Ironheart. Like every single thing that Marvel has done over the last 3 to 4 years has been nothing but a misfire. They've absolutely destroyed their brand. They've destroyed any goodwill they've had with their audience. And so at this point in time, like, yeah, what else can you do? Like, this is the box offices that you're getting heading into Avengers Doomsday. Yeah, you got to try to shift the blame or shift the interest and the attention to something else and say, hey, let's talk about Doomsday. Let's talk about Secret Wars. Let's talk about this giant cast list. All right. Oh, look, who's coming back? Oh, we're going to get Wong back in this thing. Oh, he might die. Who knows who's going to die? Ouroboros, which might be interesting to see how the TVA deals with all of this. But yeah, I mean, like all of this other crap, man, She-Hulk, look, it'd be nice to see She-Hulk get off. But yeah, the cast list is just a giant distraction. All of these shills coming out here just saying, oh my God, look, this is amazing. What's going on with the Fantastic Four right now? It passed $450 million worldwide. Like, calm down. Calm down, Shills. All right, this ain't doing nothing for nobody. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about it, man. Look, I think Marvel is dead. dead in the water. All right, it's a dead man walking. Everybody will probably be, listening to the news. We'll be checking for it, but overall, I don't think people care anymore. I think Marvel seriously should shut down operations and reboot probably in 2030. Serious talk, man. Just reboot in 2030. Start all brand new. Everything that you got that you're working on right now, you can continue to work on it, even some of the series, but just don't release them until 2030, and then start building up something new again. But I would just stay out of the public eye for the next 4 to 5 years because there's no point in dropping more and more content when, again, how you guys always say, this is what they've been putting out. The slate has been looking like this. Marvel Zombies is up next. Bruh, that's going to be a mess. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Go ahead, jump down in the comments. Give me your thoughts and opinions for that. And thanks for watching. See you next time.